Hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm Alison. I write as Alison May, half of Juliet Bell, and most recently as Ali Sinclair. It's my brand new book out last week, which I talked all about in the video last week, which was all about publication weeks, publication days, what they're like. I will link to that in the description below. Today, I'm going to focus a little bit more on the actual writing, and the topic for today's video is going to be writing retreats. What are they? Should you go on one? Will it help your writing? Are they worth the money? Before we get into that, if you are interested in writing and publishing content on YouTube, please hit subscribe, ring that bell so you get notifications when there's new videos. I post every Friday all about writing, publishing, the publishing industry, being an author, and anything else that takes my fancy. Crashing on into the video. Writing retreats. What is a writing retreat? Should you go on one? Will it help your writing? So, a retreat simply means exactly what it sounds like. The idea of a retreat is that you are retreating from the world, you are retreating from everyday concerns to focus on something, and that could be something spiritual or religious, it could be something creative. Retreats have existed long before writing retreats came along. The idea of a spiritual retreat, the idea of a holy person taking themselves off and spending time in prayer or meditation isn't new. And a writing retreat comes from essentially exactly the same idea, the idea that you are taking yourself away from everyday concerns, from the pressures of everyday life, from the stresses of the world, to concentrate on your writing. So that's what a writing retreat is. Under that umbrella, though, we could be talking about anything ranging from you just as an individual booking a room in a travel lodge, which could be like 5 minutes drive away from your actual house, booking yourself in, locking the door, not talking to anyone for however many days, and just getting your head down and typing all the words. That is a form of writing retreat, and I know authors who take themselves off on those sorts of retreats quite regularly to get away from the busyness of everyday life, the stresses of family, housemates, whoever it might be, to just be completely alone. And I know authors who actively choose a sort of less glamorous or less exciting location so that they'll be more likely to stay in their room and get those words done. So that could be your writing retreat. But there are loads and loads of writing retreats out there that are advertised, and different writing retreats offer different things. So let's talk a little bit about some of the options. So you've got that solo, super simple, take yourself off and write retreat. You might go on an organised retreat, and some of those organised retreats will be just write retreats. So you might go to a venue that hosts retreats, and you might be there for 4 or 5 days with a group of people who've also booked in to do the same thing, and you'll all scuttle off to your rooms during the day, work on your own thing, and then potentially come together at meal times or in the evening to chat, to unwind, to spend time with other writers, other creative people, and have that bit of opportunity to talk about your writing, talk about what they're writing, get some kind of human contact, but then outside of that, you're back into your writing bubble. You will also see advertised tutored writing retreats, and I have skin in the game at this point because I run various different sorts of tutored writing retreats, and those can range from what I would refer to as a tutor supported retreat, which is essentially exactly what I've just described, everyone doing their own writing, focusing on their own novel, but with someone on hand that you can come and talk to one-to-one, that you can maybe send an outline or a couple of chapters of your work to in advance, so they might have some feedback, some prompts, some suggestions for you. But a tutor supported retreat isn't necessarily going to involve any actual teaching. It's more likely to involve having someone there who is available for you to kind of call on, chat to discuss plot issues, discuss your work, discuss any problems that you might be having. But when I describe a retreat I'm running as tutor supported, what that means is that I'm not coming along with lots and lots of group sessions, which we're definitely all going to do together. I'm coming along to be responsive to the writers who come along and what they might need. If I describe a retreat as tutored or tutor-led, then I'm going to have much more input on what those writers are doing during that retreat. And it might be a weekend, or it might be a Monday to Friday or a Monday to Saturday. But if I'm describing something as tutor-led, then within that retreat I'm going to be doing some group sessions, some taught workshops, some input from me on specific craft, specific writing skills, on editing your novel, on characterization, on plotting, on plot structure, whatever it might be, whatever I think that particular group is going to benefit most from. But when I say tutor-led, that means there's going to be some definite input from the tutor. If you're thinking about going on a writing retreat, the first question to ask yourself is, what do I need? What am I going to benefit from the most? Do I just need time and mental space to focus on my writing? Or do I want some input? Do I want to develop my craft? Do I want to learn while I'm there? Because the answer to that question is going to point you in one of two different directions. Whether you want a retreat where the focus is just on the writing, or whether you want a retreat where there's also going to be active teaching and input from a tutor. In addition to that question, you might then ask yourself, do I want other people around me? Do I want that interaction with other writers? And so that was going to influence again what sort of retreat you choose. So if you think, oh no, I don't want tutor input, I don't want craft, I just want to focus on my writing, are you going to take yourself off on your own somewhere to do that? Or are you going to go somewhere where you're going to be interacting with other writers in a group some of the time as well? It may be that you choose to go on a retreat actually when you've just finished a big project, and the point of the retreat then isn't so much to get lots and lots and lots of words down, but to kind of give you a chance to refill the well. So you might take some creativity exercises along. You might focus on something like Julia Cameron's Morning Pages, and then spend the rest of the time reading, going for walks, thinking about what you might want to work on next, but not pressuring yourself to write lots of words. So retreats can have different value at different points in a writing journey. Personally, I try really explicitly every year to do one big thing that's going to benefit my writing. So alongside supporting lots of other writers and working with developing authors, I try and do something for me that's going to develop my writing. Now that might be a course, so I've done courses in TV comedy, in script writing, in things that are kind of outside of what I currently write, stretch some different muscles, learn some different skills. But I've also been on writing retreats that were just right retreats. So I've got a retreat that I'm going on with friends in a couple of months' time, which is a just right retreat. And there's a group of 7 of us, we're all authors, we've just rented a holiday cottage, and we're all just going along to write on our own thing, but then knowing that we'll have friends, other writers to hang out with at mealtimes in the evening. And that for me is going to be a mixture of writing and kind of refilling the well time. I'm hoping, if everything goes according to schedule, that I will just have sent back my edits on the book that I'm writing at the moment just before that retreat, so I'll be able to use that retreat to kickstart whatever I'm going to work on next. That's the plan, at least. We'll see how it pans out in real time. So for me, it's as much about that time with other writers as it is about the writing that I get done. I have a relatively straightforward, touch wood, there's wood under there somewhere, touch wood home life. I don't have any kids, it's just me and my partner. So time alone at home to write isn't something that I'd struggle desperately for. Obviously, some weeks are better than others, some days are better than others. But I don't really feel that I need to go away just to have time alone to write. What I do miss is the sort of interaction, the water cooler moments that you don't get if you work from home and you're on your own the bulk of the time. So for me, going away with a group of other writers is a really valuable form of retreat. It's a really valuable benefit of going on a writing retreat. So, writing retreats, are they worth it? Absolutely, I think yes. If you can afford to go on a writing retreat, that act of taking yourself out of everyday concerns and focusing your energy on your writing can be a really useful investment. If you can't afford it, if it's not an option for you to take yourself away from your environment, they're not in any way essential. They're not something you have to do to be a proper writer or anything like that. But you can recreate some of the benefits of going on a retreat at home. I sometimes, if I'm up against a deadline, it's fine to like encourage your partner to go and visit their parents or something without you if you're up against a deadline and you just want to get your head down, and then you can spend that time just writing. I've certainly done that when my partner's been away for work, just had a week of just crushing the words out, not really thinking about anything else, just eating toast, not letting my brain go anywhere out of the book, just crushing that word count. So you can recreate some of the benefits potentially of a retreat at home. You can take some of the benefits of that refilling the well time at home as well. Allow yourself to have days when you don't write, when you read, when you go for a walk, when you just do morning pages, when you maybe read outside of your normal genre or write outside of your normal form or genre. So some of those things you can do at home. So if you can't afford to book yourself on a retreat and get away, even on a kind of budget retreat, that's fine. Doesn't mean you're not a proper writer. You can still have a think about, can I get some of those benefits of going on retreat at home? If you can afford it and you think it would benefit you, absolutely go for it. Ask yourself first, what do I want for a retreat? And then have a look for the sort of retreat that you think is going to most benefit you, whether that's tutored, whether that's tutor supported, whether that's just writing, whether it's with a group or just on your own. Have a think about what you need and then have a look for something that's going to suit you. And if you go on a retreat once and it doesn't suit you, have a think about why. I've heard writers quite often say, oh, I don't like writing retreats. Well, writing retreats can be a huge range of different things. So maybe going with a group didn't suit you, but going on your own would. Maybe going and just writing didn't really help you, but going with some tutor support or some tutor intervention might. So, yeah. That's my take on writing retreats. Well worth a try, but think about what you want and what you need before you book. So, that's the video. Those are my thoughts on writing retreats. If you've got any questions about writing retreats, writing courses, anything at all writing and publishing, do pop them in the comments below. Hit subscribe and do come back to the channel next week when I think we are going to be talking about book reviews.